So what we want to do with this effort is to really, again, improve the flow of work through the system. And the challenges involved in that are pretty common. And there's a lot of them, right? When we look at our average workflow, there's a lot of things that affect the performance, the ease, the sense of progress, the productivity of that flow, and there's a lot that could get in the way. So value stream mapping helps us sort of understand these things, these sort of abstract things, these outcomes and these negative effects in terms of what's actually happening before these things happen, or things that could prevent these um, incidental issues from happening by implementing a solution as a system that delivers work. So what we find is that there's a lot of unnecessary steps in a lot of value streams. There's opportunities to automate handoffs. So it's pretty common for folks to have some part of their value stream where someone has to email somebody else, or they put a ticket in a queue and it kind of sits. So eliminating manual handoffs or delays or phases where there has to be a meeting for things to move forward are pretty low-hanging opportunities to tackle. You also will have a lot of meetings that don't necessarily add value, right? And it's difficult to understand what value we're getting from meetings and whether we could get that value more effectively. And that doesn't necessarily mean faster, but maybe, we get more detail out of the meetings that we do have. And so oftentimes what we'll find in value streams is that there's a lot of time eaten up with arbitrary meetings that don't necessarily deliver value. They did at some point. We do the meeting every 3 weeks. But at this point in the team, we're pretty good at sorting out what we need to sort out in the meeting. Maybe we can get that information or move that thing forward a different way. Also, a lot of things will happen sequentially and they don't necessarily have to. There's sometimes lots of opportunities to run things in parallel if you just have the ability to get information to the people who need to do the work in a timely manner. And there's a lot of friction. There's a lot of things that people do manually or repeatedly without automating or creating things that will make it easier to get that work done. So it's another thing that we kind of find by looking at value streams. And oftentimes when you map the value stream, you find a lot of waste that can be eliminated right away. So this is kind of a rule of thumb of value stream mapping, and it's been true with everyone that I talk to who does it. Everybody says there's something between 20 and 30% of a value stream that can just go away the moment you map it, because that's the moment that you see what's happening and you're able to have a really high quality conversation about what you should do about that. So in every single case that I've ever worked with a value stream, there's been 20% of the value stream that can just go away. Sometimes it's 80%. Sometimes there's one gigantic delay that is because somebody sends some email to another team and there's an approval process that takes forever. And all they needed to do was just say that, I've done X, Y, and Z, and this is the specification for X, Y, and Z. So if I say that I've done it, it's fine. And they always approve it unless it's a very specific case, an outlier case that means that there needs to be a real review. That's pretty common. It's pretty common to see work go to someone in the organization who just rubber stamps everything because 99% of the time it's fine. And if the people sending the work just knew what the 1% looked like or had some clear criteria, they could eliminate that entire step. So that's the sort of thing that we discover. But then once you start discovering this waste inside of the value stream, can pay you back in terms of so much time and energy that not only can you make time to address more complicated improvements, right? If you need time, everybody needs time to automate things. Everybody needs time to spend on innovation, or more time building product and less time fighting bugs. Or maybe they need to get rid of all the bugs in a backlog. You get that time by eliminating waste, and then you can invest that time in things that eliminate more of the lead time, more of the time that's spent. And this is kind of like a virtuous cycle, right? If you reinvest your time, you can start really making dramatic changes in your value stream.